You are the best.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Peter Cullen.
Thank you. This is overwhelming. I'm really touched, and I mean that sincerely. I've met a lot of you today. I've hugged a lot of you today, shaken a lot of hands today, and every one of you means something to me. That can't be erased. It's there forever, and just want to let you know how much I truly appreciate you.
We love you!
All of you guys. My name is Optimus Prime. And we all are from Cybertron. Till all are one. And we are.
Oh.
I don't know, can you see me? I'm sitting down. Okay. Well, actually, I'm only 3'6". So, anyway, I don't know where to begin, but I can allow that for you. I would encourage you to ask me anything you want, as long as you've had the question reviewed first.
Hi, Peter. I'm going to be your moderator today. My name is John. And I've got a set of pre-screened questions for you. And if you're ready, I'll start throwing them your way, Peter. So our first question, your first roles were in sketch comedy. How exactly did you transition into voice work?
You know, I don't think I ever transitioned. I think I always was. When I was a kid, I was really interested in the reactions that I got from animals. I worked on a farm when I was a kid. My aunt in Dutchess County, New York, lived next to a dairy farm, and so I spent my summers in carrying milk pails and lifting bales and stuff like that. And one of the most fun times I had would be in the milking area, and I would go to the front of where all the Holsteins were, and I'd say something, whatever mood I was in, or I'd say, "All right, I want all your attention, please." All the cows would just go. Their eyes get wide like hard-boiled eggs. And then I would talk. And if they weren't paying attention, I'd raise my voice and they'd all look at me. So I had an audience, and it was amazing. I would invent things, you know. I would do different voices and always had their attention. Went by a turkey farm one time, and all these turkeys, they were making all these noises. And so I did the same thing. But every time they made a noise or a sound, they all together, like 500 of them. So I said, "Who said that?" No, not all of you said. There was one person. What? Who was that? I want that person to stand up. Anyway, I would just improvise. And then eventually, I would take that to the classroom. And I would impersonate teachers, principals. There was one particular time I was impersonating a teacher, and we had these doors that had a transom. The window at the top would open up, you know, for circulation, and no air conditioning in those days. And it had a glass pane front, so people could look in. So I was impersonating the teacher. He wasn't in the room, and the classroom, which was always, they were always laughing, you know, because I had fun doing it. And they all shut up, and they just clammed shut. They didn't laugh. They were just staring at me. They were all looking this way, and I finally looked, and I said, I look like that, and there's the teacher and the principal standing in. Oh, well, they didn't find it very funny. They didn't find it funny at all. I don't remember what I said, but you know the way kids were. I probably said something derogatory, and little kid, oh, isn't he a fat thing? But nonetheless, I carried that through my entire life. I never stopped. I never stopped. And I mean, then they started paying me. And I've often said that if you do something you love, and if you do something that you're good at and you happen to love it, you'll never work a day in the rest of your life. You know, you're doing something you love and getting paid. There's nothing I encourage more is to follow your heart and follow your dreams and never give up on it. Never. Never, never give up. Never give in, never give up. Because eventually, something will happen. Eventually. I hope that answered the question.
I think so.
It did for me.
Very heartfully so. Excellent. So Peter, our next question is going to come from one of our VIP ticket holders, Nezrin Hassanli. If you could show yourself. Now, Nezrin, would you like to read the question? Of course. Of course, absolutely. Who wouldn't? Go.
Hi, Peter.
Hi.
I'm an aspiring audiobook narrator. How can an artist take care of their voice so it can last for a long time?
Why? I think if you're a singer, that's really important. That you don't stretch your vocal cords, you know. But I've done a lot of voices that I've coughed up a little blood from doing King Kong years and years ago. This is an old story, but I think it's worth repeating. Invention sometimes happens out of necessity, you know. You have a throat that was bleeding because of a gorilla, two gorillas. I did the mother and the father. Mother and father gorilla, nice to meet you. And then when I was called down to 20th Century Fox for The Predator, that is how The Predator came about. I'm sure some of you know the story behind that. But it's because I didn't want to do monster sounds anymore, because I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to do anything, you know. So I remembered when they showed me the Predators, what he looked like, after an awful lot of insistence, I said, they weren't very happy to show me the character. It was top secret, and you know, I said, well, if I can't see the character, what's the point of me being here? I've got to create that sound. I've got to create. So they finally relented, and I looked at that thing and I said, oh, he's ugly. He's ugly. And that face with the tentacles, that. It reminded me of an upside down horseshoe crab on the Atlantic seaboard up in Massachusetts, in Situate, Massachusetts. And there was this upside down horseshoe crab in the sun, and all these bubbles were coming out of its mouth, I guess. And they were clicking when I got down close. So I said, not only does it look ugly, it reminded me, immediately, the Predator. I just thought of that horseshoe crab, and I said, bring that microphone down. And they brought the microphone way up there, and they brought it halfway, and I said, no, bring it down more. I'm in a studio where they probably filmed, I don't know, whatever huge film of the year was back in the 30s, 40s, 50s. It was very leather, big leather chairs and stuff where the executives would sit. So it was quite a scene. And I'm telling this guy to bring this microphone down. And I said, not even there, to right here. Now here's a microphone that can pick up a sound, to that back door. And I'm going, So the director is behind me, and he's really annoyed. And he can't hear what I'm doing, and he's just annoyed, like, who is this jerk? All right, that's enough. That's enough. And he starts storming to it, and the microphone, the sound man up in the booth behind the studio said, you got to come up here. No, I mean it now. Come on up here. You got to hear this. So he walked up. You hear the door slam. And about 5 minutes later, he comes in. Oh, hey, how you doing? Hey, let's go to work here. Okay. Gee whiz, let's do that again. Okay. All right. Okay. So that was that story. I love telling it. It's funny. It's just, I can see that guy storming up those stairs, and it always brings a tear to my eye. Oh well. Next. Oh gosh.
So our next question comes from VIP member Daniel Thomas. Daniel? Oh. Daniel, would you like to ask your question?
My question is, when did you realize that you and Frank Welker have become iconic characters?
My first cartoon was with Frank. It's called Mighty Man and Yuck. Yes. And I was Mighty Man. Frank was Yuck. Yuck was a dog that was so ugly he had to wear a doghouse over his head. But sometimes he'd take it off, and Mighty Man would say, no, don't take them, don't take them. He'd take the thing off. And I'd turn into Mighty Man, this little, who sounded like Bing Crosby, I guess. We were, in those days, we just did all kinds of stuff. But so it was, that's where we forged a friendship that started from that day until today, even now as we go. And he's probably one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life, and he can make me laugh more than anything in the world. Only one other person that could make me laugh as much was Jonathan Winters and Richard Pryor. And I've had many an opportunity to be with them, but Frank is the one that I admire, and I call him the king, and he is. And I wish he were here because we normally work together. But I don't know if I'm answering your question or not. It's I forgot the question.
It was.
And Frank does that to me. He does. I start talking about Frank, and then it's it. Can't talk about anything else. Frank. He's here somewhere, I'm sure.
It was, when did you realize you and Frank were iconic characters?
Oh, iconic. That's an overused word. Iconoclastic. That's a word often used to describe people that, berate people's belief in something. I don't know. We're certainly different from the Hollywood norm. Frank is an excellent actor. I studied theater. I was in the National Theatre School of Canada up in Montreal at the time. We summered in Stratford, Ontario, doing Shakespeare with the Shakespearean Festival there. And then I was an actor at the Crest Theatre Repertory Company for a year in Toronto before my life started to change. And to be an icon, I think I think it's very difficult in cartoons to make a living, unless you can do an awful lot of voices and sounds and difference. And I would call Frank definitely an icon, now that I think about it, after explaining it to myself. And Frank he's a master, he's a master. I do a few things, so I'm a journeyman compared to Frank. How's that hit you?
I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from VIP member Yosan Do. This is my favorite question.
My wife thought you did the voice of Megatron. Should I divorce her and move on?
Your call.
No comment.
So the next question is from a friend, Sebastian Hernandez. Right here. Sebastian. Right here. For me.
When you first read that they were going to kill off Optimus Prime, how did you feel?
When I first what? I'm sorry?
When you first read the scripts of Transformers the movie, that they were going to kill your character Optimus Prime, how did you feel about that?
Well, I didn't actually read any script. I read a short, brief speech of Optimus Prime, and I was given the opportunity to pick several characters on the display table as you come in, and it was an open call for a lot of actors to come in, and you pick up this character and you say, I picked up Optimus Prime because I was asked to, and I picked up Ironhide, and I picked up a few other characters, and I had a little time to ingest what they looked like and possibly a description of their character. And I had just the night before, I'd been watching an old movie on television that had co-starring with Chill Wills. And Chill Wills was an old character actor, famous in Hollywood, did a lot of westerns, and he had that distinctive voice. And I went into the audition after I did Optimus Prime. I did Ironhide as Chill Wills, and I got that. And I knew I got it immediately because I just been watching that program the night before, and he's a Chill Wills, and he talked like that. I'll tell you something, you know. Oh my God! Man, it was perfect. I didn't know if I got Optimus Prime until about 8 days later, and you know, when you go to an audition in Hollywood, you audition for almost anything in the cartoon business, you know. You could be auditioning as an empty pail. You know, what does an empty pail sound like, you know? We had, I did a battery one time. A battery, what does a battery sound like? I went up this, I started talking like that, you know, like a car that couldn't get started in the morning. So, and I'd start out pretty good like this and go, and then I'd start talking again. So I was like running out of electric juice. And I said, I got that job too, as a matter of fact. And it read, I'm a 15-year-old car that can't seem to get started in the morning. Anyway, it didn't last long, but it was fun doing. Question? What was it?
So, what was your feeling when you read that Optimus Prime was being killed?
Oh.
To summarize.
Oh, that wasn't fun at all. I was sitting next to Frank, and we don't get scripts overnight. We get them when we show up at the studio. And I'm going through the thing like this, and I get to the page where I'm going like this, and who was it? Oh, and there was some actor used to go like this. Nonsense, 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 my line. Nonsense, nonsense, my line. And he'd circle his name, you know. So I'm going through just to see how many lines I had in this thing. And I'm going, I just see Optimus Prime, Optimus Prime, and I'm going like this. And then about page 11, I'm going. And I said, Frank, look at here. And I started reading down. I see, Optimus Prime takes deep breath and dies. I look at Frank, I'm getting whacked here. I said, what do you mean? I said, no, I'm getting whacked. That's it. Look, that's it. Wow. Oh, well, yeah, okay. You know, I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that. Yeah, I didn't like it at all. And one of the reasons was because the actors that I was working with were so great and so much fun, you know. We had so much fun doing those G1 shows. And we enjoyed each other, you know, and we always made each other laugh. And it was just a non-stop laugh session. And that drove the producer and directors nuts, you know. Can we have some order in there, please? Come on. Hello? Oh, yeah, of course. All right. 47, line 47. Take one. And if it was me and Frank was sitting next to me or something, just as I'd be reading, he'd start doing like a leaky faucet, you know. I said, Frank, can we have some quiet in there, please? Take two. And we do this all day long. I mean, it's just silly stuff. But we had a ball. And that's what I missed. I mean, I really did miss those guys and girls. I mean, you know what? They're just great people. Just great people. Yeah. Still are, always will be. Yeah.
Well said. Our next question comes from Kevin Jonathan. Kevin? Yeah.
My question is, what would you say to the people like myself that see you as a hero and role model?
What was the last part of the question? You're muffling with that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go.
What would you say to people like myself that see you as a hero and their role model?
Well, I'm honored, thank you. Grateful. I never ever thought it would ever come to that. I never ever thought it, all these years later, that I would be sitting in a room with people that I love and care for, that care for me, and I would never have envisioned or imagined that. But here we are, and I think it's one of the greatest gifts I've ever received as a person or as an actor, and I cherish it, and it means so much to me. I wouldn't trade places or anything in the world for this. And it's hard sometimes now because they're starting to do Optimus Prime with other people, and it hurts, you know, it hurts. Netflix, I think, came out with a show, a non-union thing, so I guess they can get away with stuff like that. But anyway, I got you, that's all I care about. Autobots, transform and roll out! It's so much fun to say that.
I think we all enjoy hearing that, Peter. Our next question comes from Everett Breland. Everett, right here, easy.
It's great to actually see you again. Wait, I saw this guy like 3 times. He's awesome. All right. I actually couldn't find out what question to actually ask you, so I asked some of the veterans at my local lodge, and they all came up with this one, or at least the ones who know you. With all that you have done, did you ever imagine Optimus Prime ever having such an impact on your career?
Not really, not really. I knew it was a very important character. It was innovative. It was transcending the norm of animation. The conception of a transforming toy was unique. And I thought, when I first read for the characters, I thought, this is really interesting, you know. It's kind of, we'll make it or not, you know. But it wasn't like Legos or something where you put things together. I mean, these things did it on their own. And it was fascinating. So I guess it would be after a while where I started feeling that this is going to go someplace. And then I got whacked. You know? Oh boy. And when the feature film came out, that's when I really knew, you know, it passed the $1 billion mark. I mean, that's unheard of, you know. Gone with the Wind did that, you know, but it took years to do that. That movie did, well, a couple of them did over $1 billion, and it's fascinating. So that's when I really knew. That feature film showed me that, and And I guess it's awesome. You know, it really is. It's an awesome thought. Yeah. Yeah. And a privilege. It's a great privilege. And I treat it that way. It's done wonderful things for a lot of people. You know, that's a great question. Thanks. Yeah.
We love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you back.
Next up, we have a question from Clay Wyatt. Clay Wyatt? Okay, well, I guess I'll read Clay's question. Peter, how much direction did you get when performing as Optimus Prime?
None. Oh, well, there would be direction, but not character direction. It was always, it would be something technical. Peter, you want to raise the volume up there because he's on a catapult, and he wouldn't be heard because there's going to be a catapult noise, or there's going to be a thing that, oh, okay, yeah, I got you. But other times, I had to say lines that I believed in the character. I believed in it. And if I was asked to say a line that was just not Optimus Prime, you know, I would say, I really don't want to read that line. I don't think he'd say that. And there was only one director that ever told me, he said, well, just say it anyway. I want to have it. I want to have it. I just don't feel comfortable. So, well, listen, just read the line. He said, okay. Okay, I'll read it. And it's just not Optimus, you know. It wasn't Optimus. I'll kill them all. You know, that's not Optimus, you know. That's it. Yeah.
All right, thank you. We have one last question from VIP member Gabe Mayuga. Sorry. All right, Gabe.
How difficult was it for you to make the Predator sounds?
To what?
How difficult was it for you to make the Predator sounds?
Who are you? You are one ugly. So and so. Yeah, that's the old upside down horseshoe crab on the beach deal, and with the bubbles coming out of its mouth, you know. It was also a telephone. Do you remember the old dial telephones? Well, hello, is Tom there?
So, from all of us in the audience, Peter, I think we want to say a big thank you to the legend, Peter Cullen.
I love you guys, you girls, children of all ages. I hope I see you guys again. I really do.
Thank you, Peter.
You're in my heart.
You're in our